Hello, my name is Tori Bales. The theory that I chose was symbolic convergence theory and its method of fantasy theme analysis. I wanted to look at what rhetorical visions were observed through the visuals and various portrayals within politics. I not only looked at American politics, but I looked a little at international politics as well. There have been several studies and articles written that use fantasy theme analysis, which takes the shared fantasies of a group and looks at them for signs of shared cohesiveness and consciousness. The first article I looked at was written by Paul Newley and Gregory Perrault, and it observed how Michelle Obama used her social media account on Twitter to portray herself in a certain way to the public during her husband's presidency and campaign. Because of her importance, her account was managed by campaign staff. She was often portrayed as a mother who was involved in various types of activism, especially that of education, which would have had a direct impact on her daughters. For example, this picture is from a post she made regarding the missing Nigerian girls back in 2014. She was also the first modern first lady who had the opportunity to use social media to interact with her audience. Her account was often reinforced visual themes that fit closely with what many people viewed as the typical American woman, and her account was also used to relate to the American people by portraying her and her family as normal, creating a way for her audience to relate to them. The next study I looked at was by William Benoit and others, and it looked at over 2,000 political cartoons about the string of events surrounding 42nd President Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky, and Kenneth Starr. One of the first rhetorical visions associated with Clinton was that of innocence, being that he initially denied the allegations. He later admitted to his actions, creating the vision of him being a liar who has tainted the presidency. Starr's vision, on the other hand, also painted Clinton as the villain and himself as the hero who was just doing his job. Next, I look at an analysis done about the 2008 political campaign. This was done through the observation of the candidates' websites to find the various portrayals to their stories to the voting public. The candidates each gave the viewers an insight into their lives to create a shared vision that their supporters could possibly relate to. There were a few commonalities, such as family stories and coming-of-age stories. The most common fantasies on Republicans' websites were family, heritage or the past, connection with the public, and patriotism. The most common fantasies on the Democrats' websites, on the other hand, were family, connection with the public, heritage or the past, and multicultural diversity. They also looked at the candidates' personal stories to reveal their rhetorical visions and identify each of their different worldviews. An example would be John Edwards' apparent rhetorical vision, which was that being devoted to your family was the same as your devotion to your country, while John McCain seemed to heavily believe in his patriotic duty. The last article I looked at that used symbolic convergence theory looked at the Institute of Public Affairs, or the IPA. The IPA is a conservative Australian think tank that advocates for free markets, privatization, and denies the existence of climate change. The article focused on the IPA's denial of climate change, as they refer to it as the new secular religion. They believe that climate change and the science behind it is a left-wing conspiracy theory, and that the left uses it as a scare tactic to increase their power, redistribute wealth, and impose a new order to take away their freedoms. I think symbolic convergence theory can play a big part in politics, especially since politicians are always in the public eye, which creates more opportunities for shared fantasies to be created within their supporters. In my opinion, it is a strong theory in that it allows us to observe how whole communities form a level of cohesiveness that could bring them closer. Concerning politics, it also shows how too much cohesiveness could allow the politicians to assert their power over others, since there may be groups of their supporters that listen to everything they say and choose not to question. A weakness would be the people in politics that use their platforms to create shared fantasies and spread what we refer to as fake news. The theory could be improved in a way that would find ways to make it a little bit more predictive. The theory itself can predict symbolic convergence and the effects that shared fantasies can have on communities and groups of people, but it cannot predict when a chain reaction will occur or control what happens when it does. And that is it.